Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Glad to see you all. Please be seated. Welcome to the latest edition of the Brooklyn Rails Wednesday afternoon reading series. This is the 156th Wednesday poetry reading. It is being curated by Mimi Tempestt, and it's called A Consistency Towards Godhood, California Poets and Hurricanes. I'm going to introduce the readers, and starting with Mimi in just a minute, but I first want to just say a couple quick things about the series in the Brooklyn Rail. This is also the 927th episode of the novel Sociality and Environs series that the Rail does every day online. And if you're here for the first time, you might take a look at the chat here and there. As each reader comes up, there'll be links posted to their various works and endeavors. The readers today include Mimi Tempestt, Toya Groves, Soledad con Carne, Jessica Ke'mani Hairston, and Dr. Ayodele Nzinga. My name's Anselm Berrigan. I work here with the terrific staff on making these readings happen. And thanks again all for being here. Mimi Tempestt, who has amazing poems in the current issue of the Brooklyn Rails poetry section, so you might take a look at those. Mimi's a multidisciplinary artist, poet, and daughter of California. She's got an MA in literature from Mills College and is currently a doctoral candidate in literature at UC Santa Cruz. Her debut collection of poems, The Monumental Misrememberings, was published by Co-Conspirator Press in 2020. In 2021, she was selected for participation in the Lambda Literary Writers Retreat for Emerging LGBTQ Voices and Writers, and was a creative fellow at the Ruby in San Francisco. She is the 2023 recipient of the SFF Nomadic Press Literary Prize in Poetry, and her second book, The Delicacy of Embracing Spirals, is brand newly available from City Lights. Other works can be found in Foglifter, Interim Poetics, and the Studio Museum in Harlem. Please welcome Mimi Tempestt to the Rail Reading Series.
Thank you, Anselm, for that introduction. Just quickly before I start, I want to talk about how I curated this Rail reading. Toya Groves, Soledad con Carne, Jessica Hairston, and Dr. Ayodele Nzinga are amongst some of the most brave and powerful femme non-binary poets on the West Coast. So when I was offered this opportunity, it was very important for me to bring the heat and to bring the power behind all that our side of the town offers. And I'm honored to read with everyone in this moment. I'm going to read a poem from my book, The Delicacy of Embracing Spirals. The delicacy of embracing spirals duplicates a foreign tendency to graft the landscape. It dizzies itself to become peer pressured, grows through movement as time. The foot following the other makes steps sound like wind howling, all I ever have be, the roundabout draining through the concept of a mind. A brain bears logic when magic decides to leave the room. I'm barely in my body. I forget to conjure a here. I hone frequencies out of possibilities, masquerading as Sundays. I take up space. I take up moons. I swallow ecstasies. I grin big. Forget a face is what trains the world's eyes to fancy allergies. A meteor crash of a serious self. Like how drunk and high and heartbroken the streets gonna leave me every weekend. Laugh at the minstrel showcase of a conscious being. Who you gonna be today? The tenacity fingering fiction of the human condition. Whose face you gonna sing today? Linger to bellow without teeth. Aligned to a cosmic counseling, fly not to think, blend not to blur, the lines of irrefutable irony, the x-ray of a melancholic poet, drug-addled, drunken demon, dreary, drowning, desperate without cause. Who you gonna be today? Greet them at the astral. Tell them it was all a lie. Tell them this form is a second. Tell them to dread the spiraling, to enhance the spiraling, to force the spiraling, to manifest the spiraling, to embrace the spiraling, to distract the spiraling, to ride the spiraling, to stop the spiraling, to obliviate into madness and laugh at the fickle trickster who knows when to disappear into it all. I forget to laugh during the descent. The insane self, the same question, take it all too seriously. The iridescent subject, the channeler, the menace, the griot, the society, and the society barking back at itself. Brisk a dozen talks only to kill the self. I was never here. I am never here. The here is never here. The moment counts down to consent. Singularity in the electrodes of a heart monitor. Charred teeth, charred soul, frozen nodes of fate, awaiting the weight of its own feather and heart. Who you gonna be today? At the center of infinite, the body proclaimed a Black girl child. Each phase of puberty pronounced a testimony of humanity, yet the audience wasn't sold on the performance. Perchance, power being the voice of the child, the pistol trigger warning, the child wields an entity of fury through gritted teeth, the eye be collapsing. A primordial judgment to step foot on porous ground, philosophical unto extortion, burning passion unto exploitation, violent for preservation. Be the rage, don't perform it. Wear the rage, don't let it get stuck. Break the rage, don't fold it. Fiend the rage, don't fantasize. Surrender the rage, don't personalize. Drift the rage, don't escape. Stir the rage, don't let it build. Feminize the rage, don't father it. Transcend the rage, don't let it become you. Sculpt fallacies only to tell the truth. Be human always, but godless to your enemies. Be an enemy and reveal your palms to none. Appeal to none and let your greatness parade for the masses. All the forces testifying for me to spit on laps. Forget that my gums have been numb for a pair of 8 weeks. I witnessed my foes erode to bloodlust. Every tasteless and varying attempt to harm my spirit will make a star out of me I never needed nor wanted an end in the first place. It's a setup. They can't humble the God behind my tongue. Who you gonna be tomorrow? Reveal too much. Say nothing at all. Fish for compliments in a sea of sharks, dressed finely only to let the wolves rip you to shreds, prance in their clothing every Sunday, become a dusted metaphor or two, pretend to be a writer, fancy yourself a rock star, scoff at the ridiculousness of a principled poet. Do you hear the spoken word slam? They ain't saying shit at all. Disappear into the Kia, destroy flat, gaslight the imagination, gaslight your mama, gaslight the Brooklyn Rail, gaslight the city, gaslight the you that plays Heyoka on stage, gaslight your sisters, gaslight the one man without a soul who claims to be your, gaslight the city again, gaslight the stage again, pretend to have a name again, hide in the symbol of the nucleus, transcend the spiral, die fiercely only to be born again in the margins of this third eye. A monarch butterfly exercises the feeling of you to be blossomed out of chaos. Honor the softness that craves to emanate from you. I care enough to observe the spectacle of myself. Charred innocence lingers its eyes into slumber. Camouflage youth impertinent to maturation. Fly north to eucalyptus. Forget the previous iteration of a soul's territory. Aim to testify upwards at the sky. Build this life as a temporary home. Chime exhales. Brew a prolonged death. Cry for no more here or what was and what is and what migrates into an endless topography. The shape of me conquers into regeneration. There are no values stationary in this grace, just an ounce of face daring to smile itself into oblivion in order to heal. Accept a close proximity to annihilation. Your nearest deathbed is a mirror. It looks a lot like my eyes. Depart from ego. Design a framework composed of lotus bloom and let your cynicism dissipate. Magic. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much, Mimi. And thank you for bringing us all together today. Our next reader will be Soledad con Carne. Soledad con Carne is a casually queer, intergalactic, Oakland, Ohlone-based Chicanx punk poet, working poor, multiple high school dropout, bookstore lackey, poet laureate of the San Fernando Valley, and blatant smoker sharing trauma with their mother. Please welcome Soledad con Carne.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me. Thank you so much, Mimi, for bringing me on. Um, I haven't done a Zoom reading in such a long time. I'm just like, what do I do with myself again? But yeah, here we go. Um, in a week and days, so much of the day spent rotating between desk and bed and cigarettes, tears and smiles, and I overslept, tears again, and rivers run over my cheeks while streams run through my veins, and ideas run and run and run, all the same. And I scream. I smile, I spin, twirl around, sing, dance, laugh, spin, fall, on the ground, cry, scream, laughing, on the ground, cry, hug myself, on the ground, and I say, I love you, out loud,
Mm.
just to hear the sound. I love you, just to hear the sound. That one. All right.
Mm.
I don't remember how much time we have, but I have like 3 other poems, I think. So hopefully that works. Como la bougainvillea. When my mother immigrated, she was the seed. Now I am the first root, infected by the failed experiment that is the American dream. Chop off that patriotic gangrene with a shot of tequila and a leather belt between your teeth. Not brown enough. My flesh is still too green. A ghetto cadence flashes in between assimilated talking points about my American me. You want me to say I'm a cactus. Flores bloom from my prickled pear scalp on Oakland Sundays when the sun's finally out. Bay rain washes away valley fantasies where I'm still me in a way that speaks of another happy Nepal and a first-gen cactus bed reality. I ain't no Nepal. I am the paper flower resting on the thorns of the bougainvillea bush, carelessly taken by the Spaniards from their rampage through South America and bursting through the cracked crossroads of Parthenian Van Nuys, nurtured by native soil. My body made of vines creeping through the sinews of my muscle tissue, my breast and bush made of thorns only the most precise and gentle can maneuver through. Follow the branches that sprout from my beating heart, eat from la fruta prohibida, gain the knowledge of sacred survival, a neo-indigenous revival. Take a stem and propagate a new garden. Thank you. This next one is, how much can I get away with and still get to heaven? Galaxies are born from the sweat off my brow. Nebulas are born from the sweat off my lip. Starlight juxtaposes the darkness of space, hold each other as yin and yang. I collect stars in a wooden box in my closet. Sunbeams mix with the coins in my pocket. Safety pin the fabric of reality together. With a laugh at my effort, Quetzalcoatl says, what existence isn't peculiar? A Fibonacci number can predict the stripes of the tiger, so how do you balance the sin from the sinner? Blessings from a heretic, when a good deed is for the man, not the reward, when a loving hand is for the collective, not the mercy of the soul. I wonder about my gluttony and my greed, as I feed from my hoard of dead poets on dead pages. My sloth, a depressive daze, buried in filth and regretful days. With lust, is it too much to have a memory jerk me off? The envy that shines from a crocodile smile, the pride behind an alcoholic's denial. Wrath at a supremacist system that guns some kids down, locks the others in cages. My soul is not at his mercy. If heaven is a paradise above the stars, then purgatory is the depths of space. Is it so bad to want to exist in a moonbeam for eternity? If I exist as a constellation, are my sins sketched out in the starlight with me? Santa Muerte takes me down interplanetary paths, guides me through interstellar lands, sets out a blanket for my place between Gemini and Lynx, and kisses me goodbye on both cheeks. So I'm like reading off of Word and I forget how awkward it is like scrolling through everything. All right. East Los Blues. After Seshu Foster and Wanda Coleman, the unofficial poet laureate of Los Angeles. All I know about East Los is the Ramona Gardens projects. Repetitions of the same white houses filled with brown faces, built in bunches, a little park at the heart. I run barefoot through mud puddles around classic cars rebuilt by Abuelito, weave my way through Corona bottles. I read about Seshu's LA, his East Los, his city terrace. Makes me miss my LA, my San Fernando Valley, my Panorama City. Where is my Plaza del Valle, with Technicolor hamburgers and tortilla recipes whispered in dreams by ancestors with unease? Are we serving community or just continuing Spaniard ideologies on castes and mestizos and your Raza Cosmica bullshit? My Valley swapped me in Panorama Mall, my red zone filled with baby punks and OGs, matching safety pins and ears perked up by the breakdowns from the same 3 chords, reverberating from 1979. Leave your black flag at home. I'm only talking about my black and brown punks. I think of the love I abandoned at the Reseda Orange Line station. He left me at Blue Amp at the bus stop because he wanted me to keep up my screaming. I lock away my definition of love, 6 feet deep in my heart, a secret I always keep. I am naively too honest. The one I love would have been a junkie in a different time and place. The one I love caught onto the blues at a young age. Shared them with me too. Made love to me and Ella, moaning like Sarah and Blakey, cried in Chet and Billy, lost his voice screaming like Davis. He hit me with that blue train, last stop been done wrong. My body scattered from Van Nuys Amtrak to Fruitvale BART.
Oh.
I'm so Valley. I'm so SFV. I'm so 818. I'm so like, oh my God, like tubular, like grody to the max, like let's burn down Calabasas and like fuck in the ashes of the Kardashians' $1 million mansion that could house 1 million houseless people with Neri Martinez's head on a stake and Alex Villanueva's balls nailed to the wall with a knife forged by the hands of the Mexicans they forgot they had a connection with. Because the Mexicans got no alliance with another Mexican when their words are just repetitions of white colonial bullshit. Not all Mexicans are indigenous. Remember that. But yeah, I'm so Valley. I forget my dad was one of those East Los Hazard Street Vato locos, and half my kiddie days were in those Ramona gardens till he found a new woman and decided to raise her kids instead of his own. How much does his East Los mirror the one I vaguely remember, that I read about through Seshu Foster? The most I know about my father is the sun shining off his shiny slick back hair, how he hates his own father, how his blues are the same shade as the love I gave away. What kind of Freudian shit is that? Maybe the same shades of blue gravitate towards each other and cling like hydrogen to the oxygen atoms, pulled together into a glob of paint that we use to color symbols of solitude, sadness, sedentary existences onto our pathetic faces, not as warriors, but as creatures that crave their own death, demise, destruction. Thank you. And I just have one more. For the little brown kids that got called Dora because of their bowl cuts. Bangs cut straight, connect one temple to the other. Upside down bowl spills a baby galaxy of thought that grows from the atoms of the first twinkle twinkle star. A crown of dandelions and pipe cleaners, a super suit made from thrift stores and hand-me-downs. Bare feet run over the blacktop through mud puddles, ring around, ring around, ring around, the dumpster divers, over to the Boletta man's creaking cart, to the bookmobile and back. Stop at the man who runs a little market out of his house. Buy some Pelon Pelo Ricos with $1 from Bolito. Celebrate the candy with a squeal. Celebrate a birthday with a piñata. Celebrate a baptism with familia. Celebrate the first day of school with that first sip of Corona. Baby's first blackout. Baby's first bar fight. Baby's first DUI. Baby's first cry out to creator. Please help me change. Please make it all right. Please don't let me drink tonight. Pre-K to the school to prison pipeline. Pre-K to a 5 to 10 stint in La Pinta. Pre-K to court mandated AA. Pre-K to stumbling out of liquor stores anyways. And you stumble back into morning cartoons and Ninja Turtle pajamas. You're rolling down a hill while I swing up to the moon. We carry potions and create recipes for eternal youth. Where did time go as we spin in circles, fall into a kneel, and scrape knees on sidewalk murals? Wait for time to come kiss your wounds, eat your tears, and assure you, you don't gotta know nothing. Thank you for having me. That was it. Sorry. Zoom readings are weird, but thank you.
Thank you. That you're so great. Thanks so much, Soledad. Our next reader is going to be Jessica Ke'mani Hairston, Oakland-born poet, author of the new poetry chapbook, Power of Our Wombs, which was put out this year by Nomadic Press. Recently, Ke'mani appeared on Susan Ruth's Hey Human podcast, where a wonderful conversation took place on adoption reunification in her book. Ke'mani also appeared on Adoptees On podcast with Haley Radke, which will debut sometime this fall. Although they're no longer pursuing social work in the academic world, supporting children and families in the placement system is deeply gratifying work. Ke'mani has spent the last few years studying creative writing at Northeastern University at Mills College in Oakland, and has found purpose and challenge in English tutoring and hopes to pursue more work in this area. Please welcome Jessica to the Rail Reading.
Hello, thank you for having me, Mimi. Thank you so much. Again, it's really wonderful to see all the other poets. I will get into it. I have 2 poems today. I decided to postpone the one I was going to read, the newer poem I was going to read for Saturday, and I'm going to read a poem I've written about Palestine. I hope that's all right. Let me pull up Google Docs. Okay. Just a little about this poem. It is an Arabic style poetry form. I think of it form as an opportunity to kind of guide myself when my emotions are heavy and big. And at a time like this, I think organizing is key. So I use form to kind of organize my thoughts, and then I broke the form a little bit because I have a lot of thoughts. So I'm going to play with this poem for you all. I'll put the name of the style in the chat because I'm going to pronounce it wrong. But I'm also going to play with language in this poem. And I'm also going to, it's also got call and response. So if you hear me say the phrase, praise be to Allah, please stay muted, but in your space, say that back in return. You say praise be to Allah or to God or another preference. Say it in English and say it in another language, or at least think it. And, but yeah, stay muted. Of course, use the chat, and I'll get into it. I guess this poem doesn't have a title yet, but here we go. It's October. The grass here is lush. I put my knees in soft soil, face Jerusalem, to conjure secular salah. Praise be to Allah. Palestine is ancient, across the partition, racist, sit elevated, chewing apples, eating challah, popping bazooka gum, eyes on Arab annihilation. What way is this way? As if this is Yahweh, like Semitic isn't also Allah. I like to tell my other sisters of my first times in my sister's masjid. I tell her I'm afraid to do wrong. She reassures me. We lose our shoes, plump our rumps on decorative carpeting for sermon. I'm covered incorrectly, though no one kicks me to the curb. In fact, I'm pulled in further. I see how devotion is the act of returning when you don't know because you don't know. On our way out, she invites me to come again, inshallah. When Israel started its assault on Gaza once again, me and this sister were here in the West getting pizza and frozen dates from a Muslim man. They are common foods in the land of Canaan. After we head to her gym, she gloves up, punching the past, punching the present, challenging the future, blows so powerful she became a single woman intifada. I think I'll patron in the same shop for those hearty dates. My mother is fasting for her weight, and the sugar can keep me upright on the streets when I march. May her blood sugar stay balanced during a time of change. I shall see Palestine free, alhamdulillah. I dropped out of my colonial college. They acquired us with the fall of the old empire. I have not graduated, but I am liberated. It owns 11 schools globally, beginning in New England, and by its teeth, Oakland is its newest catch. They call us satellite campuses. I call us territories. Ohlone land longs for priority, but finds occupation. When the old empire kicked rocks, Tears for indigenous wishes fell on deaf ears. They drafted daddy's sons to come make honest women of us. Feels more like we were sentenced to a disappearing act. They were sent to work over us, wretched wenches. Then came white pride gangs. Rapes have run rampant. Territory scorched in pee. Slurs the silence of savages. Allahu Akbar. Praise be to Allah. Do as are due, I do not want this life, lost in their lies. If the road gets better, let me stay the ride. If it does not, I'd rather wade in fresh waters until you, my creator, deliver me new. My God is sufficient. I cannot be undone. Allahu Akbar. Praise be to Allah. My Black Bostonian major advisor allows himself to be a pawn of the old white establishment. He speaks over me, rhetorically wondering why someone like me would be in school without grades like these, like I'm unworthy of the struggle. He wants us out. They want us out. They all want us out. I must leave. They curse us, they block us, they flank us, they laugh in our faces, they walk right past us, they surveil us, but we are not seen. I know they will exile us first and never ask later. They are not with Allah. Israel is using bombs to blow apart earth and make mass graves to unbrown the Holy Land. How does that even work? Israel sent guns to Rwanda to help the French keep the Hutus' ideologies disoriented for the slaughter of the Tutsi, to assist the apartheid in South Africa, to unalive the Mayans in Guatemala, so skinheads with swastikas stamped in their skin in the States can kneel on our necks. We cried mama so loud our screams can be heard in Palestine, cutting through the whistle and eruption of stingers. Israel is a terror state. They force paternalism. They say their actions are Bismillah. Zionists hide behind the Star of David, but it's the soul of a people, not the soil. The wants do not justify the means. Israeli prophets warned of the dangers and the crimes of statehood on tribes. They warned in Yahweh, settler colonialism is not the way. I uafikuna, Allah. A people, a nation, a land protected by God. No man nor monster can erase me. Jews haunted by the Holocaust, break bread, love thy neighbors, teach history, triumph by God. Zionists harbor Aryan evil and will not give the pain to Allah. At noon on Juma, did you hear the many rise from the rubble in Gaza, face Kaaba and pray for abundance? Did you not see Arab youth of the diaspora make demands, disturb the elite eating lunch on Wall Street, stop street traffic in Frisco, link arms in front of federales? Did you not see Jews take on Washington, D.C.? Did you not hear anti-terror project talk stop cop cities, bring wisdom of South Africa, Korea, and Haiti? Did you not see Black folks raise our fists high in solidarity, hear the bass in our voices, resurrect Negro spirituals? Did you not hush when our indigenous siblings showed us the power of O, how our voices could create the wild collective? Did you not hear us chant death to Project White Power? This October, have you not tried calling the Almighty Allah? Have you donated? Have you marched? Have you called your elected officials? Have you boycotted? Will you serve in the holy war? Will you sacrifice to disempower the elite and their goals of imperialism? I shall wake up every morning listening for Allah. 75 years and not one more. Palestine shall be free and hurt no more. Like Mossab Abu Toha wrote, if we say their names, we'll have the names of the martyrs hidden in our ears. In their ascent, cover them, please, Allah. So, for this last stanza, when I say from the river to the sea, you say, muted, Palestine will be free. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. Thank you. That's poem 1. And let me bring up poem 2. So I'm going to read a poem from my book. Some of you may have heard this, some of you may have not. I am just using my time wisely as my year closes, or as 2023 comes to a close, just with the agreement with small press distribution to keep my book on their shelves, on their website until the end of December. So I want to continue to push for my book to reach more ears and more eyes and more laps. So this poem is from my book, Power of Our Wombs. It's called Ours, Minds. My auntie is behind the walls of a psychiatric institute. Schizophrenia is in control, so much so it's in the driver's seat and highly kinetic. I imagine her life has been a cycle of triggers at those subsequent trauma responses, likely a combination of hereditary genes, traits, and trauma. Our entire family meets this world differently. Black women and hysteria, carceral state punishment. But her mom does struggle to meet her daughter's needs. Her and I are about the same age, my cousin and I say, we're old enough to be angry. Yeah, I'm grateful for what I have, but I'm angry about the things we haven't been allowed to want or to keep. Because my familial partitions aren't about dumb loss, someone's butterfingers, or bad luck, or birth defects. It's been about bargains, us as financial gains and losses, brownness and blackness, who's boss, conditions and conditional love, borders and walls and boxes, the laws they've made to watch us, most of all, the outcomes of our systematic traumas. I was your daughter until I wasn't. We were safe to figure it out, be found to one another, grow together home in your womb until I wasn't. And I'm always trying to convince myself that our belonging belonged to us and that on birthright, I'm supposed to have been yours. But like Auntie's schizophrenia, the drugs took you hostage, became baseline. Your pain, the drugs, the past, your have-nots took you out of your body because they've gotten good at breaking us. This time, they lost their drugs onto our streets, then blinked their eyes, beaming, raping, and washing us with their white gaze. They gave us crocodile tears and those fake-ass dismay. They yelled out that we were super predators, unfit mothers, and welfare queens, trannies, hoes, queers, druggies, diseased, and gave carceral punishment. They say they can't believe they found our drugs in their drugs in our veins, as they unethically but legally tapped our breast milk and tested our pee. A witch hunt, a war on Black mamas. Isn't it ironic, the day I was born, the 19th of June, Emancipation Day for chattel slavery, also the day I broke through your canal, 10:32 p.m. touchdown, Earthside, 1998. The day my freedom, my access to you, my origins became choices of the state. My family partitioned at the hands of the state. War on Black babies, Black families, Black trauma engineered. You couldn't raise your mirror, so you sold her, your firstborn, my sister, for drugs, mother. Whistleblowers still whisper that you pimped her out, my blood mother. Is that who you were to her father? Still, some say you loved your women, while others say that love was arguable. Maybe your comebacks went something like, due to my destined death, being born a beggar, no pot of peace, nor piggy bank bloated with bread to call my own, the itch to escape has become insurmountable. So you sold your own kids school lunches, jewelries, pictures in their frames, their nickels and pennies. Maybe you even believed you owed no one an apology. But my pondering isn't about the pimping, it's about the way our colonizers have been able to prop up their feet, smoke a cigar, and watch us in turn abuse ourselves. Things masters do when their plans are going according to plan. They're talking about who gave who HIV, my sickly, neglected parents. I imagine my hunchback, my bent spine comes from you, mother. Generational pain, the traveling trauma. I'm thinking about the places that have abused our family, your death sites, my death sites, that there are piles of us wasting away. My ruins are collecting all over the state, the West Coast, even the East. I wonder what my death looks like now, and my haunting isn't even my own. If I walk the halls of Alta Bates Hospital, will I find my umbilical cord, the remainders of me, of which the body produces and lets go of, for a mother to remember my birth, her loss, the death of her emotions and her spirit, of her love for her future, a reward for her bravery, endurance, of her subjugation, of the assertion of their power, for the laughs on the other side of the hospital curtain during their breaks? Will I find my cord splayed out on the floor as you hobble toward the sliding doors, as you ran for the exit, running from racism, as you ripen to an O? Or maybe the remainders of me got discarded in one of those hazard waste bins, wasted flesh, composting dreams, memories, connection, language of me, for me. Maybe I'll find your nail scrapings on wood washing doors, splinters, blood, and all where you fought with and for your sanity. Maybe a mortifying crack in the mirrors from your groans. My birth name signed in Sharpie on bathroom stalls, by the door handle crossing thresholds, the traveling of trauma. Maybe my pumped milk is tucked away in your oxidizing, unheld belongings that still reside among the other lives and belongings that sleep on the various streets of Oakland, where you hunker down at times, or in the baseboards under the mattress in the home you once occupied, a home next door to the heinous murder of your best friend slaughtered by her significant other. You spoke of how you heard her scream until she could no longer open her eyes. My grief is not all my own. Inherited memories, all of it has made a name for me, of me. Or maybe the doctors force fed my mother the kind of pills that supposedly dry up your milk. Carceral state punishment, war on Black mamas. My adoption logs say you breastfed me until June 24th. That's 4 sunsets and sunrises. Quickly, the world pulled us apart again, and I went and lived amongst the Kerns for nearly an entire year. You missed our scheduled visitations, permanently losing parental rights, leading your mind to split for good. When my foster parents held open houses, my forever mom learned how many women came, walked on their tippy toes, cupped me in their hands, and then said no to my incessant crying, put me down, and never came back. My body remembers you, mother, even though I don't. My body has kept score of you all. That's an excerpt. The poem is like 11 pages, but in the interest of time, I will just share that part. So again, that is from my book, Power of Our Wounds, and it is on Small Press Distribution's website. Be there until the end of December. I also have a few physical copies, so please reach out. I think my Instagram is on the registration link on Eventbrite and all that kind of stuff. So I'm happy to send a physical copy as well. And yeah, again, thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, Jessica. Our next reader is Toya Groves. Toya is a lifelong teacher and writer who currently teaches high school English in Oakland, California. She's worked with formerly incarcerated and houseless populations in the Bay Area as teacher and case manager. As the mother of 3 children and who recently became a grandmother and wife, her work tells the story of the transformation of the divine feminine. She holds a BA in African American Studies from UC Berkeley, an MA in Women's Spirituality from Sophia University, and an MFA in Creative Writing from Mills College. It is her life's work to tell the story of womanhood as she sees and experiences it, with hopes to inspire others. Please welcome Toya L. Groves to the Rail Reading.
Hi, everybody. How are you doing? I'm so excited to be here. I haven't read in a minute. I'm going to do 3 pieces. One that I have not yet read in front of anyone, and 2 others that I've read before. The first piece I'm going to do, I like to call in the energy, call in some in the spirit, and I come from a small town outside of Pennsylvania called Straw Pump. And so I'll just go into it. This is called A Banshee Call. My tongue roll bruise in throat, a banshee call from wooded hills, boomeranging off of 10-sided shanty towns with owls that flap in stale attics, stretched angled from wall to wall, wingtips touching moldy beams wet with wishes that went up and stuck to the inside of rooftops, sooted in ashes of 13 prayers. Put me in the back of sea on the edge of water, dripping down in between my knees. So this next piece I'm going to do is a couple years old, but it tells well, I'm just going to let it speak for itself. I'm sorry, and I got to stand up. Let me sit down. What's in that bag? A Band-Aid all coiled up, dug out and stuck between gooey recycled brown napkin rags, crumpled up and shoved in, holding tears hidden away in change purses. Unlocked lockets, scraping the bottom, pulling out fingers with nails, gritty hands, cracked head, hung over neck, bent, digging in, digging out and in. What's in that bag? Blunt tips and tobacco crumbs mixed with dried up weed bits, saved for later to use in the midst of chaos. A break in the time you forgot to get your baby from a friend's house. You had just laid your head down and popped back up again. You left then, right away. You remembered soon as day broke and the smoke dispelled and spelled your dead baby's name in the air, written with softness and a quickness and a lifelong sickness aching in wombs, in rooms with no space and no walls to hang pictures. No pictures hang on the walls because walls don't forget the smash of the flesh upon paint, the clutch, the drag, the grass, the pound, and the echoes, just like the walls of throats pressed between knuckles, pounding and boots kicking can take a whooping, a bruise, a swelling, a switch, a buckle of a belt, but the welt of memories is unbearable. Because what is it to know and never touch, so far out of reach at the tip of a tongue that never remembers and never falls on ears or rings in response? What's in that bag? Lip gloss smeared with a liner of eyes to draw on dams, because damn, you forgot to get milk, and oh, the guilt to sit with the forgot that remembers the reality that really you ain't got it. Couldn't get it, never had it, because the food stamp card that charges in the leather coils of your fake Coach bag jumped out in the rain as you ran for the bus, clutched in your hand, carrying crumpled up welfare packets. Time to renew. Not renew as in rebirth, but renew interrogation of the soul, questions of trickery sliding down and out of eyes and over noses and nods that never see, just report on the lines. On the lines, waiting to get into the prison, hoping to get into the prison, taking kids to get into the prison. Last dozen dimes spent on bus rides and gas leaked through tailpipes, waiting to get into the prison, to lay eyes upon the taint of your stolen soldier. Bra wire must be removed because possibly, maybe, potentially, you could transform that bra wire into super edge technology and pierce through the glass thick of a 400-year barricade between you and love. But still you wait in the line. Wait to get into the prison line alongside your eldest daughter because she saw it all. The sway, the rise and the fall of the fist, the propel, the thrust of the kick. So now she waits to get into the prison with you, beside you, for you, like you. You don't want her to remember her daddy that way. It's her daddy. The one you never got or knew or had. It's her daddy that is walking castrated on the soils of ashes underfoot. Her daddy, because daddy, where did you go? Where is my daddy? Who is my daddy? Will never come out of my child mouth. My kids will know they daddy. Even if it hurts and sings and burns and belts and shoots me, they will know they daddy. What's in that bag? Oily and lip smudged condom wrappers, old and never used, hot and melted with sweat, hopped on with the dreams of family and white picket fences and barbecues and boat rides through deltas with jazz playing in the background, the ground of the battle blurred dreams on 1, 2, 3 children in tow. You knew and you know you tried to clasp this person, this man, with the clutches of walls that will never hang the family portrait, clutching with thighs stained with lifeblood, abortion and cum, squeezing so hard, acrylic cuts into palms because you never held him in your hand. It was sand and dirt and mud and rain and water and oil slick with spit of pimp tails and dreams spewed onto lips instead of kisses. Slobber drips down spines into cracks, scars covered with Band-Aids. Band-Aids from the dollar store that don't stick or hold on but flap in the wind that flail over the skin. Band-Aids that let in the dirt, the grime, the grit. Band-Aids from the dollar store. I know what's in that bag. Say no more. Wish we could unmute sometimes. Let's see. Okay. This next piece, let me look at you guys. Hi, everybody. Okay, I have to go back. This next piece, it's kind of long, and I've read it before, and I'm working on it and trying to piece it all together. But it's inspired by what Jessica read because I think we're calling some prayers forth today. So I'll just go ahead and start. Extra, read all about it. This is the daddy's issue. You opened up a nightmare and didn't shut the door when you left. Who do we call when brown fists fall on chests and steel barrels poke into our belly full with life? Who do we call when our daughters show up recycled and bruised and abused in the grease of liquor? Next time it will be oil and a match flicker. Who do we call when uncle's knees shove into young crotches, or we find our nigga naked while watching our babies play on the floor? I just ran to the store. Who do we call when tricks want their dicks wet with our blood? Who do we call when fathers dangle brown babies from apartment windows where children once sat waiting on their daddy to pick them up, who instead left them hanging? Who do we call? Do we defund, or do we run for our life? We don't want them dead and gone, just out of sight, out of mind, so we don't call the police. Instead, our bloodlines sit barred up and simmer in abuse that is more than mere insult, but rather assault with a deadly weapon, loaded with bruises, gaslights, and Stockholm syndrome. Imprisoning minds that call themselves woke. Who do we call? Because calling you is like calling the Employment Development Office. We've reached our maximum number of callers. Click. After waiting on hold, still phone in hand, hot burning for 400 minutes, while kids grab at pant legs, dragging dirty on supermarket floors, sliding through on Instacart missions for folks who only eat whole food, while we eat half food fed to bellies and other half to gasoline in alleys, while bearing down on backwoods that cost $10 for a whole pack because Alameda County don't sell single flavored tobacco products no more. Still sitting still and stuck, calling back to back, waiting on money on cars that we never see, just spend. No dollars, but bill shows up all the time, on time. Voice hanging tensed in throats and swallowed into gut. There's so much hanging on this collar around my neck. If I didn't have this blunt narrowly rolled and wet up, I would forget to breathe. Because see, the cancer stick attacking and poking in my gut is not only flavored products that I must pay double and drive miles, while white boys riding camels into marble lights tell me I'm not allowed to cope or hope on sacred leaves stolen from Pocahontas' belly. I am not allowed to call the blunts of my Orishas unless I buy a whole pack of 10 out of this last dirty dead man calling himself 20. The cancer is that white boys get to cope with the boughs of my bloodshed at the tips of their fingers, and I don't. The cancer that penetrates does not get wrapped in pink silk bows. Instead, hung mothers sway back and forth in waiting on hold, waiting in line, waiting to present deaths of Black women hidden and acronymed into silence when mothers die by Black fists and Bluebeard writing cuss words across chins. Covered by mass 6 feet dip and 6 feet away from me, a shot in the arm is blackmailed to me, trips and cash and promise to free, dumped over orange cones and corralled and herded immunity, remembering Gila who stands cloaked in blankets of smallpox at the entrance to Tuskegee. Please don't shoot me in the arm or the leg. I beg you to still hold on to me as I twirl asses on ambulances carting off the dead, trying to shake it off of me. The alone that shuts and shelters me in a place that is decorated with trauma's curtains, with windows that don't look out upon grassy lawns or spanned out streets turned into walkways for the rich. I must sit with the itch of the trails of cockroaches festering on food bought with stimulus food stamp payments that only feed me paralysis. Nothing in the bill stimulated me as I sit waiting on a call for protection, for money, for food, for housing, for love. Who do I call? I can't call you because you at school, at work, doing music, hitting the knock with the next chick standing on street corners, doped up, out on bail or bailing out or in jail or dead. So instead, knees bent and head hung in church, in doggy style, in deep throat, praise. Up there. Thank you, everybody. That felt so good. I love being here with everybody and sharing and hearing. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Toya. Our last reader today is cultural architect Dr. Ayodele Nzinga, an arts and culture theoretician / practitioner working at the intersections of cultural production, community development, and community well-being to foster transformation in marginalized communities. Dr. Nzinga holds an MFA in Writing and Consciousness and a Doctorate of Philosophy in Transformative Education and Change. She resides in Oakland, California. the author of Incandescent, among other books, and her work can also be found in numerous journals and anthologies. Described as a Renaissance woman, she is a producing director, playwright, poet, dramaturg, actress, performance consultant, arts educator, community advocate, and a culture-bearing anchor. Please welcome Dr. Ayodele Nzinga to the Rail reading.
Thank you so much for having me. And here we go. Everybody cries for their own. We feel the blade when it's at our neck, the shackles when they impede our reach. We know family, country, block, clique, religiously clinging to religions, we cry for our own. We want justice, want reciprocity. We understand the right to defend. Is retribution the same as defense? Does it matter who pushed who first? Whose pain weighs more? Is reciprocity an eye for an eye until we all eyeless? We cry for our own. We cling to our borders, the division we manufacture to separate us from us, to make the them we guard against, carving out what we defend and where to retaliate. Fire for fire, no water, no mercy, no quarter, given, kill, destroy, obliterate, crush even their gods who ain't really gods, can't be gods. They ain't our gods. We annihilate, destroy, rain down death for ours. Crush worlds with the weight of our love for ours. We would pile corpses to the sky, walk on the bones of babies and slaughter women. We would violate universes, imperil galaxies, cut the nose clean off our face to ensure peace and safety for ours. And they would do the same. An eye for an eye till we all eyeless. We cry for our own. An eye for an eye until there are no eyes to cry. Have you seen America? She round your way. I've been trying to pull up. I want her in the dream to come on out and play. You seen America? Tell her. I got time today. America, the myth, big as the lie race. See, really ain't no such thing, ain't no such place. If there was an America, it would look like me. The label would say, built by me, made by my existence and the echoes of my resistance. Democracy is my fingerprints on the Pettis Bridge, is blood on the stage at the Audubon Ballroom. It's in the shadow under the balcony at the Lorraine Motel. Falling down a mountaintop dead shortly after arrival at Highland Hospital. In the middle of every hood, slipping in blood and crying for its mother. The places America struggles to birth herself. Still dreaming. Still born. If you talk about America or dream about me thinking about my freedom, I want you to picture me racing you to the edges of your flawed constructs, stitched sloppily over your greedy. Oh, don't worry about it. We're going to ritually burn that shit. We're going to set fire to your supreme need to profit off other people's land, labor, flesh. I'm going to race you to where your guilt live, right next door to your fear. I'm gonna pull up on your safe place, your myth of race. I'm gonna smooth undo you. In black magic dreams, I deconstruct you and say the world. I am every dream America ever had about herself. Determined to be, I ain't got no ambient melting point. I am not resilient, I am persistent. You call me an anointed transformer. You see the gods in me. No surrender. 400 plus deep, born in the water, still dancing. 400 years deep, born in the water, still dancing outside the birthing room, taking stock of the complications, the commodification of everything imagined, including me, and still, I imagine your possibility. Stillbirth after stillbirth, still weighing your worth, and certain that if there were an America, it would know it's the result of a gaping wound. It's 2/3 blues, a sideshow, a high-speed chase, a chance past forgiveness, a pile of dead bodies, a nocturnal scream, an endless prize fight with no winner, dogs and hoses, my grandma's prayers, my dead brother's terminal prison sentences, 7 shots from a 22 ricochet and no way to stop the bleeding, on life support, a lie whispered by old white people. A tale told by slaves, waiting for trains that move like chariots over the water, like the ghosts of the stillborn dream called America. You seen America? She round your way. I've been trying to pull up. I want her in the dream to come out and play. You seen America? You tell her. I got time today. This last piece is called Blackberry Pie, and it's a fractal tale for ancestor mathematician John Sims. A countless number of praying grannies have conjured us a world within a vacuum. Their ceaseless prayers are our gravity. We hear still. We walk most of the way after the chariots before the locomotion. We still legion and multiplying. Let me count the mathematics of being Black in North America, way down south and all out west in the shadow of Dixie. In the breeze of cotton's everlasting breath, where we restless because there's no place to rest. Numerous interruptions, countless intersections, the end result of tidy orchestrations, major movements, microaggressions, minor feelings in play. Roll the dice. What's the odds history repeats? You can't be snake eyes all the time. I need 5 men to skin 1 goat and 3 virgin sisters to release 7 doves, and all this counts. Be careful what you pick up, or at least remember where you stole it from. And don't get all Greek with me. My Orishas speak Ebonics. Summons me the ghost of Archimedes. Speak to me of levers and other magic tricks. Explain me the foundations of Hiram Abiff. Stand in the shadow of the pyramids. Now riddle me this. Did ancient spaceships spoil whistle tips? And is the truth written in the vibration of the scream or the tip of the whip? Old Cotton got a multitude of jokes, from 1st to 3rd degree. Yes, my myth skips continents and galaxies. I got a dog star passport, North Star motives, and a cosmic mindset like pie. You can picture me free. You tried it, but you can't contain me. I have been made an irrational fractal. Seasoned blackberries in a pie, the more berries, the better the pie. And formulas like 3 times the average rent is market rate, all the jobs minimum wage equal you don't live, sit, or lay here. Look away, look away. We had some good times. May they never be forgotten. Oh, Cotton talks soft, dulcet tones, hammer in velvet, employing punitive codes out loud way down south and all out west, where more mean more and less mean less. The clock say 10 seconds to doomsday. Swinging on a minute hand, trying to hit a number to rearrange the balance sheet, make the music play different, and in some that look like a win. They still got pirates in the temple. 30 pieces of silver by all your men's. They were in Granny's house, and the neighborhood is frontier again. We hunter-gatherers again. Roll them dice, looking for a win. It can't be snake eyes all the time. Creation will still exist, no matter how much you leave on the table. Turn over your cards, jokers. One planet at a time, silly rabbit. What are the odds of history repeating itself again? Colonize what part of space? I bet you the last tree and fade you my praying granny's constellations and tree root maps divided by the number of shells on the ocean floor, plus all the stars in the sky. Bet you them identical numbers that play backwards, make invisible music. You better be careful what you conjure. Walking on ancestors eating above my head. I can't tell you the star, but God's tears and cosmic dust is the square root of all of us. And the more blackberries, the better the pie. And in this I trust. They say God's in the numbers, but the devil's in the details. How many notes compose Coltrane's soul? And if 400 years ain't enough, then how many more? Shuffle the cards, I'm just riffing here. Let me double down on the hook and you can put some 808s on the chorus. My myth skips continents, jumps conversations and galaxies. More berries, please. I got a dog star passport, North Star motors, and a cosmic mindset. Like pie, I'm free. You tried it, but you can't contain me. I have been made an irrational fraction. Seeds in blackberries, and blackberries in pies. The more berries, the better the pie. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks to everyone who read today and everyone who's here. Thank you, Mimi, for bringing us all together and reading. Thank you, Dr. Nzinga, Jessica, Toya, and Soledad. And now we'll do the thing that we do at the end of these readings, which is everyone gets unmuted so we can say hello and goodbye at the same time as we go off into the rest of the day.
Thank you for the incredible reading.
Thank you all. Shout out to everyone.
So much.
Y'all have a wonderful day.
Yes.
Thank you,
That was
Mimi.
completely incredible. Thank you all.
Incredible.
West Coast is the best coast.
Hey, West Coast is the best coast.
For real though.
Thanks, everyone.
Hey, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.